Lionel Messi's uh, some. There's been some revelations about his contract since our last conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go over a couple of numbers, and I'll head over to you because I know you've been following this very, very passionately. I've seen your Twitter activity.
Yeah, when you got a client on the jersey
Yeah.
of the kit he's going to wear, you follow it a little bit, right?
Absolutely. So it's reported that his deal is pretty much a 2 to 2.5 year deal to 2026, and it's around the number of $150 million. There was also reports that there might be equity in the team as well, and signing bonuses and so on. So it's an interesting deal compared to if you look at what he was offered, what he's left, to what he's going to make. Just we're talking purely from the club perspective. The rev share agreements haven't been proposed, haven't been negotiated just yet. I'm sure they'll have them down the line. But yeah, so interesting. I'll hand it over to you because I know you've been following this very, very passionately.
Well, yeah, it's a look, there were parameters of that deal. There were certainly are some of it speculation, but we're starting to get some clarity on financial terms and how those terms are to be met. There's no subsidy from the league, but the subsidy is kind of coming, from the team, from other, and I think from other owners as well as the ownership stake that's offered for him there when he does choose to retire. Um, the deals that are the rev share with Apple and Adidas are still in the works being finalized. But we've talked about it, and and what it means. I mean, and so think about what a stake in a franchise that this time 2 months ago was acquired through Beckham's arrival in MLS for $25 million. Immediately, saw its value increase with new franchises going for 300, 325, and then most recently we've seen a new one go for $500 million. We've seen franchises within MLS start to top $1 million with LAFC, cracking through that number after their championship win last year. And with the announcement of there was the Apple deal, and then you come back, you follow that up with the announcing, not formally yet, but Lionel Messi announcing that he's going to Miami, and allowing that to start to simmer, and that those trimmers to go all the way through the league and start to take hold and make change and resonate, value from a value standpoint to a league. We saw those impacts. We saw the away games after his designated start date, which has been confirmed now, by the way, and for the U.S. Open Cup or the Champions Cup game against Cruz Azul on the 21st of July. So everybody that's playing Inter Miami on the road or at home after that is sold out immediately. Tickets to that game on the 21st. Yeah, those tickets to the game on the 21st skyrocketed. Now they are in discussions with something we were talking about, a couple of weeks ago, of the potential of moving some key games from Drive Pink Stadium to a Hard Rock Stadium to accommodate the demand to watch. To your point, and I would agree with you, the greatest player in the world, greatest player in our time, and it's a spectacle, and so people are want to go watch it, and frankly, Messi can fill those stadiums himself, and if I'm a league and if I'm an owner and I'm paying him what I'm paying him, I'm finding ways to sell 60,000 tickets per game. if I can. And if I've got a venue that I can do that in, that'd be great. And they have plans for their new venue to be on track, but by the end of 25. So they have their solution coming, but hopefully Messi is there to open up that stadium. It's an option year for him in 26. But the rate he's going, if you watched him play a couple of days ago, he absolutely eviscerated the Australian, defenders. And so he looks in good shape. Looks like he's still got good form, and just excited to see that come over here, later this summer, and showcase his skills, here in the MLS for all of us to see on our Apple subscriptions, and see what he's doing, and to see him on Sports Center highlights, if you will, that MLS is going to get coverage they've never gotten before. He is,
for sure.
It's every news outlet is going to cover Messi. Messi scores. I mean, yes, purists, we would watch that. We'd get up early in the morning on Saturdays or Sundays to watch those games, and we'd go in deep into our other social media channels to watch the greatness of Messi. Now we're going to get it. Scott Van Pelt's going to be calling Messi highlights, at the end of the day. So, it's going to be kind of surreal to start seeing it on a much more regular basis. But that's the good thing for the game in this country, is that when you get to see someone of that stature playing at that level in real time, and in real time in the sense of in our normal time, that we don't have to appointment watch him. He will be there all day, every day. That's going to be great for the growth of the game. The question is, does it create, a new structure for ProRel here or anything like that? That's really the biggest thing that he could change at some point. But I don't know that that's going to happen certainly anytime soon. But he is playing in a last place team and going to be coming in and we'll have a tall task to get that team into the playoffs. And it looks like some of his friends are coming to join him. So that'll be interesting to watch as well. Apparently, Di Maria and Busquets are going to be joining him as the three domestic or international players for signing. So he could change roster structure of MLS because of the others that want to come play with him. And if I'm an owner, I try to replicate that with Messi's Messi, but if you're able to get some players in Europe of his quality, get a Neymar to come over here, and okay, is Suarez going to go with Messi? Suarez end up over there with again, what type of roster construction are they going to allow? Look, I'd love to see a lot more players still with quality play in their legs come over here and raise the level of play in our league. I mean, Zlatan came over here and did it and said, I'm bored with this. I'm going back to where it's more competitive. Messi is bringing talent with him, or he's attracting talent to come over here. I mean, you have players that are getting offered crazy money to go to Saudi Arabia. And I can't, I won't argue with any one of them for taking that money.
We're gonna be talking about that very shortly.
Yeah,
that's
but it's one of those things that Messi is attracting. Players are looking at MLS in a totally different light now that Messi's here. Certainly, young players in this country will grow up seeing one of the greatest players play, and hopefully, what you get is more talented players wanting to come over here and play. But more importantly, watch the talent level around, within our structure raise up. And compete on a global level. See more of our American talent, going to Europe to play, an EPL, but maybe going there to cut their teeth and then coming back, earlier than they probably would, right?
That's the key. That's the key, really. That if they come back in their mid-20s, while they've still got some of that prime left in them, that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, and look, if the league is showing that it's willing to pay at a level that the rest of the world pays, then we probably keep more talent here. More talent will want to come here. I mean, if you look at a MLS schedule and compare it to a Bundesliga schedule, or whatever, and where those teams play, and I mean, we're talking about, you're playing in LA, you're playing in New York, you're playing in Chicago, playing in Miami, playing in Dallas, we'll be playing in San Diego, Houston, St. Louis, Minneapolis. You're talking about really, Nashville, vibrant, great cities that are, not that some of the European cities are not, but we'll go through some of the EPL teams, that are there. I mean, I don't know how much fun is Newcastle. How much fun is playing in Bristol? Brighton.
About the weather.
And our time of the year. Our league, plays, kind of opposite the Premier League schedule a little bit. They overlap a little bit, but they're those leagues are playing, kind of competing with our football season and our our basketball season, and we try to flip it to where soccer comes on, it starts in March and ends in early October, so it's not competing too much with our bigger sports. So it'll be quite interesting, and obviously with World Cup coming here, does this spawn a new generation of soccer talent in the U.S. That grew up watching Messi play, and now they can actually go to games to see him play. Not everybody gets a chance to go over, and when he came over here to play in a friendly, I mean, you're not seeing Messi play when Messi cares.
No. Fantastic. I look forward to it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you all that tune into our podcast, the audio version, of course. And once again, we'll catch you all next week. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Take care.